Well, hey everyone, and welcome back to Mer Week 2018. I am so incredibly excited because we are here hanging out for another mermaid interview. Now, if you have not been following along, Mer Week is in celebration of the release of the box set omnibus of the first trilogy inside of the Siren Wars Saga, which is my mermaid book series. And I am so thrilled to pieces because we are debuting the first three books and an exclusive prequel bonus novella from everyone's favorite merman, Merrick, and I cannot wait for you guys to get your hands on a copy of this. And in celebration, we are doing a full week of professional mermaid and mermen interviews, as well as a seashell crown extravaganza.
Hi, the volume went out, so I don't know if you can hear me or not. Yeah. Let me see what's going on with the sound. Okay, well, I don't know if you guys... Yes? No?
Looks like we are having just a little bit of trouble with our audio. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Mermaid Tasha, could you just nod if you can hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you, so
you can hear me. Fantastic. I cannot hear you, and it looks like other people cannot hear me as well. Amber and Alyssa, please let me know if you can hear us down in those comments below. And Mermaid Tasha, I am going to go ahead and ask you some questions. I can't really hear your answers, but everyone else should be able to. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to ask you some questions while we are doing this. And I'm going to try to find my earphones, and I am going to ask you to answer questions while I listen to you on my phone. So this is going to be lots of fun. I know you are inspired by the marlin fish, which is pretty amazing. Can you tell us just a little bit about what your tail looks like? Because we are only seeing you from the waist up, and I know you can't really lift it up to show us on camera.
Well, as you mentioned, I'm inspired by the marlin. I come from Ocean City, which is the white marlin capital of the world. So it's kind of an homage to where I'm from. And I'm going to just move the camera so you can see the tail. Maybe. So it has a silver fin.
Oh, you do have it!
And then the back is blue with the dorsal. Kind of look like the blue marlin. So, yeah. You can see it better in my pictures than now because, like you said, it's kind of awkward with the camera and everything, but
that is an incredible tail. I didn't realize you were actually wearing your tail right now. So I am very, very excited that you've got that down where we can see it and you're not all covered up. Everyone is saying that it is beautiful and that they are absolutely loving on your gorgeous tail. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. If you are here with us live, we want to hear from you. Drop your questions for Mermaid Tasha down in those comments below. And if you're on the rebroadcast, we want to hear from you as well. Leave us your questions. And if you get one that we don't answer on air that we think is amazing, we might just be able to get Mermaid Tasha to swim back in and hang out with us another time. Alexis is here and she's giving us all of the heart emojis and lots of love for Mermaid Tasha right now in the comments. Now, Mermaid Tasha, Mermaid Tasha, I am thrilled to have you here today. We've been chatting on social media, and I want to know what has been your best experience interacting with humans as a mermaid?
My best experience interacting with humans, I guess it would just be when a bunch of children come up to you and just the shock on their face when they see that you're a real mermaid and their dreams can come true and mermaids are real, and just the excitement that the children bring.
I am still working on getting my audio here. So I do appreciate you bearing with me today. This is a very strange tech glitch. I have been able to determine that we are definitely getting some cool new Facebook features. You guys know I'm a social media marketing strategist, so I have all the kind of insider info about this. And is my audio back? I think my audio's back. That's weird.
Woohoo!
I can hear you on my computer, not even on the headphones. That's exciting. So Facebook is having some glitches right now. I do apologize, but now that I can hear you, let's actually have a real conversation. So this is going to be lots of fun. I know that you have been mermaiding for a while now. You kind of have a lot of interactions with humans. How long have you been visiting the surface and hanging out with us up here in the human world?
I've been visiting the surface for about 3 or 4 years, but only really actively. More, I guess, I've been visiting the surface, but I haven't really been interacting with humans that long, so it's been since I've been interacting with the people.
Fantastic. Now, you are a little bit south from me. Where do you typically surface to hang out with us?
Typically, I'm off Assateague Island, which is near Ocean, but I love to visit my friends in Metro Merfolk and Circus Siren Pod, and they're more up the Chesapeake and inland, so I do travel around a bit. Marlin are a migratory species, so they love to travel, and I also love to travel, so I can be found pretty much wherever.
Okay, so then I have to ask, if you're a mermaid who loves to travel, where is your absolute favorite place that you have ever traveled to?
Definitely Australia, the Caribbean, and Cozumel area especially, so a bit of both.
Amazing. Oh, I've never been, but I've always wanted to go. I feel like it's much warmer water over there. Is that right?
It depends on the time of year, because in Australia, Sidbars here in America, so they do get cold, but definitely not as cold as we get.
Now, as a mermaid, do you prefer kind of the warmer waters, or do you actually like those colder waters?
I definitely do prefer warmer waters, but I adapt, and if it's cold, I'll still swim in it.
That's awesome. I was actually talking to an Arctic mermaid earlier today, and I thought that is the coolest thing, but it must be so cold in those Arctic waters. I'm definitely a warm water person myself, and so I'm definitely with you on the warm water side of things. Now, I have to ask, I know you spend a lot of time in the saltwater. Do you also kind of hang out in freshwater as well? I kind of see that you're in a pool right now. So is that something you do often or not so much?
I do prefer to be in saltwater coming from the Atlantic Ocean, but with Circus Siren, all types of water and swimming pools, so I am used to freshwater, and I will swim in fresh or saltwater. The bays that I swim in are typically brackish, which means that they have both salt and fresh water mixing together. So that kind of developed my adaptability with freshwater, but I do prefer to swim in the saltwater.
That's awesome. Now, I know you spend a lot of time with the Circus Siren Pod, and they have the most incredible travel tank I've ever seen. It's absolutely huge. I think it's like 9,000 gallons. They were telling me. I had the opportunity to meet them at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair a few weeks ago, and unfortunately I didn't get to meet you, but the tank was so cool. Do you enjoy being in that space and being able to swim around and travel around in a tank where you couldn't normally reach quite as far inland?
Yeah, so the tank is actually 9 feet tall and 3,000 gallons. And I do love being able to travel and visit different people that I normally wouldn't get to see on my small coast, but honestly I prefer like the ocean and pools and wider spaces than our tank, even though it is quite a large tank. But I do enjoy the traveling and getting to meet new people and that sort of thing that the tank provides me that I wouldn't be able to do just staying along the coast.
That's fantastic. Alyssa's in the comments, and she's saying that she is so jealous that you get to spend so much time in the ocean aside from the sharks. Which brings me to my question, do you often encounter sharks, and what happens when you do?
I love sharks. Sharks are so great. It definitely depends on the type of shark. Some you should be more afraid of, like bull sharks and great whites, but sharks are friends. They're very nice. And I actually love to swim with the whale sharks. It's something I did in Australia, as I was mentioning. And this October, I guess that's this month. So later this month, I'm headed to Mexico to swim with the whale sharks again. So
that is fantastic. Oh, I'm so jealous of your mer life. All right, I have to ask, within the Siren Wars Saga, we actually have a war going on between the humans and the mer and the sirens, and we know that you are good friends with the humans. You do come visit us quite frequently, but I gotta know, have you ever run into any sirens on your travels?
I have. We actually have a few sirens in our circus siren pod, but thankfully, unlike in your books, they're actually quite nice, at least to us, because we're all in the same kind of cohort. If you make them angry, then things could turn bad.
Yes. And we actually do have one of your siren sisters coming to join us for Mer Week. She will be here in a few days, and I'm incredibly excited to be able to hang out with her as well. So we have not just mermaids represented, but the sirens too. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some really cool things going on for Mer Week. Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, if you are joining us live, I am pretty excited because we have developed something I think is pretty darn cool. If you actually type in the following words to the comments right now, I am going to pop up in your direct message inbox and give you a little bit of a choose your own adventure quiz to determine if you are a mermaid or a siren. So if you jump down into those comments and you actually type in Mer Siren Quiz, that'll pop up in your DMs right now. You can play while we're still on air and let us know if you think you're going to end up being a mermaid or a siren, and then you can check the book to see if it really does fit within the world of the Siren Wars Saga. Now, I do have to let you know, once again, as you obviously know from today's broadcast, Facebook is having a couple of little glitches, and yesterday it was not working. We're hoping that it's working today, but if not, if you're on the rebroadcast, you should definitely be able to play this quiz as well. So type Mer Siren Quiz into those comments now and figure out if you are a siren or a mermaid. And thank you guys so much. I do appreciate you being here. Alexis, thank you for your support. Alyssa, thanks for showing up. Julie, super excited to see you. Amber, we are excited to see you as well. If you all have questions or comments for Mermaid Tasha, now is the time to pop those into the comments below so we can get those answered for you. Now, Tasha, I have to know, you have the most gorgeous tale. Can we take a look at that one more time real quick now that I'm actually looking at my screen and can hear you?
See?
Ah, beautiful. So now tell us, I know you've got these long, gorgeous, beautiful fins. Is this something that makes swimming incredibly easy for you? And do you kind of prefer to swim really fast in your tail? Do you kind of like to be leisurely as you are swimming? How does this work for you?
Well, marlin are actually some of the fastest fish in the ocean. They can actually swim almost close to 70 miles per hour, which is pretty ridiculous. So in terms of my pod, I am one of the fastest. But in terms of how I like to swim, I kind of just more enjoy floating and just chilling. But I can go fast if I have to.
That's amazing. Alexis is in the comments, and she wants to know, what is the coolest fish that you've ever seen?
Well, going back to what I had said earlier about the whale sharks, they are definitely the coolest fish that I have seen. They're the biggest fish in the ocean, so that's pretty nifty too. And their spots on their body is actually unique like human fingerprints. So you can tell each whale shark apart by the different spot pattern on their body, which is pretty cool.
Wow. That is really neat. So I have to ask then, you know so much about the ocean creatures that you are swimming with and how to identify them, and you interact with them all of the time. Do you and your mermaid friends maybe name some of these creatures that you come along with, or do they kind of just come and go as they please?
They kind of just come and go. We don't really name. Well, at Carolina Ren Fest, which is where Circus Siren Pod is during this run, so from now until the end of November, we actually have a turtle named Tito, but we also have 2 seahorses that aren't named. So it kind of just depends on whether it really likes or not.
That's amazing. And this weekend, the Circus Siren Pod is going to be joining us live from the Carolina Ren Fest. And it's going to be so much fun. It is, I believe, Sunday at 6 p.m. They are going to be here with us Eastern time. So if you want to check that out, and their incredible travel tank, now is the time. Stick with us for Mer Week. We've got a lot of really cool things going on. So speaking of all of these fabulous fish, I know that you are very, very similar to that marlin fish. I know that they are these incredible creatures, and I know that you spend a lot of time with them long before you ever came to the service to hang out with us. So what is it that draws you so much to these marlin fish?
As I was saying at the beginning of the broadcast, I'm not sure if that's when your speaker was going out, but I'm from the Ocean City area, as I previously mentioned, and they are actually the white marlin capital of the world. So just everybody's love for the marlin and just rallying together. And the white marlin open is the time when everybody hunts them. But aside from that week, marlin are really like the mascot of Ocean City. So I was just drawn to it as that kind of homage towards Ocean City.
Fantastic. Now, I see that you're wearing a bit of a net on your shoulders. Can you tell us a little bit about how you as a mermaid prefer to dress? And do you kind of build your outfits around the colors in your tails?
I kind of build it around the colors of my tails. This net is blue because my tail is blue instead of being a brown or gray or whatever. But normally I have stingrays or a manta ray on my top, but they're currently swimming free. They didn't really know that I had a Facebook Live thing today, so I just have on a normal top. So I figured I'd throw on some blue netting to match my tail and give it more of that ocean type feel.
That's fantastic. And the fact that you have sea creatures that kind of hang out with you all the time is something that I am so incredibly jealous of right now. And listen, if you guys are joining us live, do us a favor. And if you are joining us on the rebroadcast, you can still help us out. We want you to jump down and hit the share button. When you hit the share button, that tells Facebook that we are doing something amazing, that we're doing something really cool, and that other people should be watching this too. And when Facebook is told that, they then kick this video out to more and more people, which means more people see us. They get to hang out with Mermaid Tasha. They get to ask us questions, talk in the comments, but also when more people show up, it allows me to do more events just like Mer Week here on my k.m. Robinson author platform. So if you have more authors that you want to see, if you have other books that you want to get to know, if you want to see more of my talk shows, if you want to see more of my interviews, and if you want me to get more special guests like Mermaid Tasha here on air to answer your questions, what you got to do is hit that share button and let Facebook know, because that tells them that I'm doing something cool, and that tells me that I'm doing something good for you. So do us a favor, share your support, and hit that share button right now. All right, if you've got questions, if you have comments, we want to hear from you. I do appreciate each and every one of you hanging out with us. And we are taking your questions and your comments right now. We're going to be wrapping up in just a little bit, but we still have time for a couple of more questions. Now, Mermaid Tasha, I see that you are in a gorgeous pool. Is this your pool, and do you spend a ton of time kind of hanging out in this? Is this deep enough for you to spend a lot of time in, or is it more just for interviews?
It is my pool, and I spend a fair amount of time in it. I do like to be at the beach more than I like to be in the pool, but sometimes, it's not really good weather to go to the beach, or there's something kind of interfering. So then I will chill at this pool. So let me show y'all. There's a slide and a diving board, and yeah.
I love
green right now. That means it's more natural, right?
Yes, exactly. Now I'm absolutely loving your slide back there. Do you kind of hang out on the slide with your entire mermaid loveliness going on?
Not really. That's more so for when my human friends come to visit and they like to go down the side. It's a bit hard for me to get up the steps to go down.
I was gonna ask, do you have someone who helps you get up to the top of the slide? Do you can you go down it easily, or do you kind of get stuck with your tail there? So I was kind of wondering, but that's really cool that you actually provide all of these fun extra things for your human friends as well. I feel like you are a very generous mermaid. So what do you typically like to do for your human friends to kind of give them a little taste of being a mermaid?
I like to take them swimming and into the ocean and just really show them my world. The humans can scuba dive or free dive or snorkel and can come and enjoy the underwater life that I get to experience every day. So I love doing that with some of my human friends, and I love making human friends by that way as well.
Now, if you could give one piece of advice to us as humans who maybe have some mermaid wishes and mermaid dreams going on, what would you tell us to kind of experience just a little bit of what you get to experience every single day?
I would definitely say just try to practice your swimming and keep up being healthy and swimming as much as you can and being able to experience the water and the ocean. And if you want to snorkel or free dive or scuba dive and go down and actually experience the animals in that way, that's also a great way to live like a mermaid. So.
That's fantastic. Now, I know you spend a lot of time working with conservation efforts. So if you were going to give us a little bit of advice on how we can make a difference, what would you tell us?
I would definitely say watch where you're throwing your trash, because even if you live in the mountains, which is pretty far from the ocean from what I gather, your trash, if you throw it on the ground, it's still going to end up in the ocean. It's going to be carried down through the rainwater to the lakes and streams that are going to take it down to the rivers, to the bays, to the ocean. And then it's not very good for our sea life like our turtle friends. So just watch where you're throwing your trash. And if you are at the beach and you see trash, pick it up and throw it away and make sure that it doesn't go out into the ocean.
Now, you do a lot of traveling as a mermaid. I know you are one of those mermaids who's very, very conscious about helping the environment around you. And I know you said that you go to amazing places like Australia. But of your local surroundings, what is your favorite beach to visit?
I like the state park at Aztec Island. So on the Maryland side, right across the Verrazano Bridge.
Now, I have to ask, I'm a big fan of Aztec Island and the horses there. Have you ever had any fun experiences with them?
Yes, the horses are great. The humans aren't allowed to get too close to the horses, though. So if I'm too close to shore, some lifeguard might come try to chase me away thinking I'm a human. But when the horses kind of get out a bit, then they're pretty nice, I think, and we can just chill. And it's fun to see the land animals in the water.
I'm sure. Do you kind of get that really excited feeling when you are seeing land animals because you're so used to seeing all those sea animals like humans get when we get to see dolphins and whales out in the wild?
I used to, but thanks to Circus Siren and my ability to travel with them, I've gotten a lot more used to it. So I still get really excited if I see a cow, though. Those are pretty cool animals, I think.
That's amazing. I actually live out in the country, so cows are pretty popular around here. So I might just have to have you come visit so you can hang out with the cows.
Definitely.
Now, we just talked a little bit about the lifeguards maybe mistaking you for a human if they see you. At this point, have the lifeguards become maybe just a little more familiar with you, or do they still end up being a little surprised when they see you out on the shoreline?
Well, there are some lifeguards that come back year after year, and then there are the new ones that would be more surprised. So I try to figure out where the seasoned lifeguards are and just stay on their beach. And they're like, oh, that's just Mermaid Tasha. She's fine. So
That's fantastic. Do you typically have a lot of younger children or even older adults running over to meet you when they see you?
I feel like when I do a surprise visit and just show up on the ocean, it's actually more adults that come over and they're like, oh my goodness, a mermaid. And I'm just like, yeah, hi, I live here. Like, you should do this. Some sometimes the children, but I feel like they more watch from afar, whereas the adults will come up and they'll be like, oh my goodness, like a mermaid. So
that's so much fun. I definitely think that is amazing. And I have to ask, do you do a ton of photo shoots when you kind of make your surprise visits, or is it more just having conversations with people?
it definitely depends. I definitely do photo shoots on the beach when I come up, but sometimes I do just come up from a swim or to make conversation with the people that are there. So it depends, but a little bit of both.
That's amazing. So we have been talking for a little while. We've been chatting all about your incredible life as a mermaid. I'm so incredibly jealous of you. And I have to know, how long do you typically stay above the surface? Do you have to go under the water a lot to kind of make sure you've got your skin nice and refreshed? Or can you stay up for longer periods of time to have conversations with us?
Well, we are mammals like dolphins and whales, so we do breathe air, so we come up a lot. But as for how long we can stay out, I feel like the longest I've been out is probably about 2 hours. So I'm not really sure what would happen past that point. But
Probably best if we don't find out, right?
exactly.
That's amazing. Hey, listen, if you are joining us live or on the rebroadcast, we want to hear from you. Drop your questions down below. We will get just a couple more answered because we are coming to the end of our time with Mermaid Tasha. We know she needs to get back to her ocean life. She's got a lot of fun, fabulous things going on today. We were chatting before we went on air, and I know she is super busy, and I'm incredibly excited that she took the time to come hang out with us, especially show off her pool to us as well. But we want to hear from you. If you've got last minute questions or comments, now is the time. Drop those down below. And if you're on that replay, we might just be able to get Mermaid Tasha to come back and hang out with us if you have a question that is so good and we didn't get answered on air. So we want to hear from you. Let us know what you have questions for. Mermaid Tasha, I'm seeing that you've got this gorgeous day going on right now. The sun is shining. There's towels blowing in the background. We've got the gorgeous water behind you. What is your absolute favorite place to just take a minute and relax as a mermaid? I know you really like your ocean, but if you're out of the ocean, where do you like to be to relax?
If I'm out of the ocean, I'd like to find like a quiet spot on the beach that's kind of away from the people and just curl up in the sand.
That's amazing. Are you a big fan of laying out on the sand and kind of sunning yourself?
Not really. I mean, I love the sand, so I am a fan of the sand, but in terms of just laying out on the sand and just sunning, I prefer to be in the water, even if I'm just floating in the water.
I was actually just at the ocean last week. I was doing some photo shoots and I was working and partly having a vacation, and I spent a lot of time collecting shells while I was out there. Do you kind of do that as a mermaid? And do you find that there are better shells up near the beach or very far out into the ocean?
I definitely love collecting shells, and I actually had a pile of them that I was going to bring out, and I totally forgot until this moment. So next time we'll have to talk again, and I'll bring my shells. But I feel like it depends on what beach you're at. Like down in the Bahamas in Freeport, and also in the Caribbean, but not necessarily in the Bahamas, in Grand Turk, they have a lot of these conch beaches where there's just beaches full of conch shells, and those obviously are right on the beach, but otherwise I feel like you do have to swim down a bit and look for the best shells.
Fantastic. And that happens to be a big thing within the Siren Wars Saga. So if you guys are a fan of seashells, make sure you take a look at why those are so important and how they actually kind of shape the story within the Siren Wars Saga. Speaking of which, if you are new to me, if you are joining me to hang out with Mermaid Tasha today, I gotta let you guys know I have a little bit of a present for you. If you are excited for the release of the box set omnibus of the Siren Wars Saga, Selena's complete trilogy, I am giving away the first book in the trilogy for free right now. You can actually grab this by going to sirenwars.info.k.m.robinsonbooks.com, and you can get the ebook of this for free right now in celebration of Mer Week. You can meet Selena, you can meet Merrick, and you can see what happens when the sirens drag the mer into a war with the humans and see if this series is right for you. Then you can go ahead, pre-order the entire, oh, that was upside down. You can pre-order the entire Siren Wars Saga series.
Oops, you froze.
Apologies, guys. That definitely kicked me off there. You can actually get the entire Siren Wars Saga series plus a bonus prequel Merrick novella by going to Siren Wars info.k.m.robinsonbooks.com, and you will be able to see that prequel novella from everyone's favorite brooding merman, Merrick, and learn just a little bit about him before the Siren Wars main series takes place. And then if you want to see what happens when the Sirens actually split from the Mer, you can take a look at the prequel novella, The Origins of the Siren War, which is now available for you guys to take a look at as well and learn just a little bit more about my mermaid series. And hey, if that's not enough mermaids for you, you can also check out The Sinking, which is a totally unrelated mermaid story, a dark, twisted retelling of The Little Mermaid, which I have a feeling that Mermaid Tasha will absolutely love. Because we've got some interesting under-the-sea things going on in that story as well. So, Mermaid Tasha, I do appreciate you being here today. Before we go, any last things that we should know from our charming mermaid guest today?
Well, first, I just want to thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to coming back to show you those shells that I forgot. And yeah, it's just, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer them even after this broadcast has ended so that you can still get your answer. So, and you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Both of them are at Mermaid Tasha. And my email is themermaidtasha@gmail.com if you have any really strong questions.
And make sure you check out her social media at Mermaid Tasha. I am following all of her accounts, and it is so much fun to see all of the amazing pictures that she posts for us. And she is absolutely wonderful about interacting with people on social media. So if you've got questions, if you've got comments, if you just want to hang out and see mermaid gloriousness, at Mermaid Tasha is the place to be. Make sure you check that out and give her an email if you have fun, fabulous things to say. I am so thrilled that you joined us today, Tasha, and thank you so much for coming on the show. We're definitely going to have you back, not only to show off your shells, but because it's going to be so much fun to talk to you again. We do have some cool things coming up in the future that I have not debuted to my fans yet, but guys, this is just a tiny little look at some cool things coming. I have a really big project. You're going to flip your fins over. So make sure you stay tuned. Before the end of Mer Week wraps up, I will be dropping some information on this. So stay tuned for more information on that. We are going to say goodbye to Mermaid Tasha in just a moment. But before we do, I got to let you guys know, we have more mermaid interviews for Mer Week as we are celebrating Mer Week 2018. So join me tonight at 6 p.m. with Mermaid Morgana. I see that it has cut off my words just a little bit there, so I do apologize for that. That's another Facebook glitch. But 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, we are going to be hanging out with Mermaid Morgana. She is the creator of the Circus Siren Pod, and you've actually seen her before on my live broadcast when I was meeting the Circus Siren Pod during the PA Ren Fair. So you will be able to see more of Mermaid Morgana tonight at 6 p.m. I would love for you guys to come join us and ask all of your fun, fabulous questions. And because that is not enough for Mer Week, we do have one or more mermaid and merman interviews every single day between now and next Tuesday when the book launches. We're incredibly excited because on Sunday, we are going to be hanging out for a seashell crown craft broadcast. We're going to be making seashell crowns live on air. I'm going to teach you step-by-step how to do it for under $5. If you want the list of supplies, you're going to want to bounce over to merweek.k.m.robinsonbooks.com, where I have all the supplies listed for you and where to find them. Super easy to get, super cheap to get, and we're going to make seashell crowns on air together. And over on the website, you can also get the full Mer Week schedule. English is a little hard for me today, but that's okay. I'd rather speak mermaid anyway. We are going to be hanging out over at merweek.k.m.robinsonbooks.com for more fabulous live broadcasts with our amazing mermaids and mermen. And you can join me on Sunday for that Seashell Crown Craft Day with special guest author Annie Sullivan, who is the author of A Touch of Gold, which happens to have mermaids in it, and Katja the Serpent Siren. It is going to be so much fun, and she is also going to be joining us for more interviews as well. So we've got some great things going on. And then on Tuesday, you can join me for the box set launch party for the Siren Wars Saga, Selena's complete trilogy. That is at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to be doing games and giveaways, and there's party gifts, and there's all sorts of fun, fabulous, amazing things. And Mermaid Tasha is going to be joining us for them. So if you want to see more of her, she will have her seashells, and we're going to show those off on Sunday for our amazing book launch party. Cannot wait to see her again, and I cannot wait for you guys to join us for the launch. Again, giveaways, games, party prizes. It's gonna be amazing. You guys have seen the book launch parties before, and I cannot wait for you to come join us for this one as well. Thanks so much for joining us here on Mer Week. I do appreciate it, and join me again at 6 p.m. as we hang out with Mermaid Morgana for more mermaid goodness. I'm k.m. Robinson, author of the Siren Wars Saga, and I cannot wait to see you guys again. You can come hang out with me, k.m.robinsonbooks.com, and at k.m.robinsonbooks on all social media platforms. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, if you've got a mermaid I need to know, now is the time to let me know. We'll connect. It'll be awesome, and we will continue to celebrate Mer Week. Mermaid Tasha, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate you being here. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I will see you in just a couple of hours as we hang out with Mermaid Morgana. Until then, stay inspired. Bye-bye.